to soar. Hey, yo. All right, I thought about saying, did somebody say Glizzy? And then you guys just roaring. Ah! Ah! But then I felt like it would be stupid, so so I'm not going to do that. Play a song. I'll keep reaching to the sky. Fight for the reason why. Maximum effort on each try. Like sulfide. 430 viewers, bro, fell off. 430 viewers would put you in the top 1% of Twitch. It would make you in one of the elite S-tier class of all streamers in history. If you could get 430 people to show up to you rambling about stuff, it is an exorbitant privilege in all of human history. One that I wouldn't take for granted. If I had 430 people show up, I would put on the best show I could. Certainly wouldn't bother me, but I would make it 429 because I'd ban your dumbass. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to the Atrioc stream here on March 18th, 2025. What a pleasure it is to see you again. I took a little break. Sure. Took a little break. Do I apologize? No, not really. Girl, your pit is showing? It's not yet. Now it is. What do you think about that? What's up, Austin Reeves' dad? I'm proud of my son. Yeah, I'm proud of my son. Yes, I'm proud of my son, Austin Reeves. I'm proud of Charmander, Dalton Connect. I'm proud of Charmeleon, Austin Reeves. And I'm proud of Charizard, Luka Doncic. Hey, Atrioc, fan cams, do your thing. You want a fan cam of me lifting my arm up and looking at my pit? What song? Hey, can I tell you guys? This is going to sound so fucking dated. Even though it's not that old, it's going to sound so dated. You're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe he's... But I don't usually listen to pop music. Not really part of my rotation. Okay? But... this is not a big controversial thing. I like the... Anyway, that's my thought. Bada bing, how's everybody doing? I didn't get to see you on Sunday nor Monday, but I'm sure that many things have happened that you would like to discuss or talk about. Or I have a couple topics that I want to talk about today. No PowerPoint probably. This week, I mean, no PowerPoint this week. I think I'm working on something bigger, and it'll take a while. And it paid off last time, so you can't stop me. You can't stop me. I delayed that Tesla presentation 3 weeks, and then it made fucking 20 videos worth of views. So, oops. Mr. Glizzy, the JFK files are out. You got to start running. Are you under the impression that I killed John F. Kennedy? What if I told you, I'm not confirming or denying what you're saying. What if I told you that I actually had a sports bet with his Secret Service agent that guy refused to pay? So I was actually trying to aim for him and I fucking missed. Would you feel worse or better about, like, what if it wasn't intentional? What if I felt really bad about it? What if I voted for Kennedy and I was like, I like that guy? Acquitted? Can you imagine? All right. Can you imagine your defense for killing a president is you meant to kill someone else, and the judge is like, well, it seems like an honest mistake. Let he who hasn't made a mistake cast the first stone. This man is innocent. That'd be based. It'd be based. Squeaks wouldn't have missed. Pro. You don't know Squeaks. Squeaks would have shot twice. Hit everyone. Hi, Asmongold sent me and first time viewer. You are an 8-month sub. Stop. Whatever you say next, I don't believe. All right? I don't believe. You gonna fill out a March Madness bracket? That's a great question. Normally I wouldn't because I don't watch college ball. However, Clint Stevens asked me to as part of his scheme to extract money from me. So I've decided I will. I paid Clint Stevens to run a bracket in his bracket competition, even though I don't know shit about college ball. And then what I did was I picked, surprise, surprise, Duke winning it. I went to a 1 seed and I said the 1 seed will win. I basically did fucking seeds. So if everything goes according to plan, I'm going to make a couple $100 or something off of old Clint Stevens and crew. I think Lud might be in it. Did you do Marketing Monday yesterday? I did, yeah. What'd you guys think about it? I thought it was pretty good. Probably not going to make a video about it, but it was pretty epic live. It was a really good Marketing Monday. One of the probably best ones yet. So anyway, thanks people that were here in person, because I think it's only going to be a live thing, but what a truly powerful performance it was. Oh, I should be live tomorrow. I can't 100% confirm this. I can't 100% confirm this. So please don't hold me to it like you like to do. But tomorrow, I think I'll be going live to watch the FOMC Federal Reserve meeting with Jerome Powell. Because it'll be like 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Eastern, something like that. I think I'm going to do that. It should be a very important meeting, which is why, like, can I discuss outcomes here, or should I do that tomorrow? Well, let's do it right now. Fuck it. Very, very briefly. Tomorrow, the Federal Reserve will decide to either raise interest rates. Wait, give me a little bit more of these. Raise interest rates, lower interest rates, or keep interest rates exactly the same. Okay? This will be the decision. And I've explained what these means along. Maybe I'll explain what they mean tomorrow. But what's interesting is if they lower them, that means they're seeing real weakness in the economy. And it's like they're trying to get ahead of a recession. All right? They're trying to juice things. That's one option. If they keep it the same, which is what I think is the prediction, probably what I would bet on, is they're scared about inflation coming back. They're scared about job losses. They're just trying to keep things steady. They're going to keep wait and see, be data dependent. If for whatever reason, there's a small outside chance, but if they did raise them, then it's going to start a fucking war where Donald Trump is going to try his best to remove Jerome Powell from office. There's going to be a full-blown, constitutional crisis, Trump v. Jerome Powell. Whereas, if he actually does raise them, if Jerome Powell thinks inflation is the biggest problem, if you think unemployment's the biggest problem, you start lowering. If you think inflation is the biggest problem, you start raising. That's basically the simple thing. If you can't decide yet, you go neutral. If he thinks inflation is the biggest problem and he raises, hell's going to break loose. There's going to be 50 fucking truth socials about it, and we're going to have a real situation on our hands. So that's why it's interesting and worth watching. I also want to hear his statements. Again, there's from what I'm seeing, there's a lot of underlying weakness continuing to show up in the economy, in default rates, in slowdown in restaurant spending, and slowdown in small business self-reported intentions to hire, intentions to grow. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, a lot of things. So I'm assuming they'll bring that up and talk about it. We'll see. But anyway, that's the little update. It'll be interesting. That 8-ish, by the way, that could be the intro tomorrow if you want to do a thing. Do you think there's someone with an economic inflation fetish who has trouble finding content they enjoy? No, they just go to McDonald's. Are you kidding me? 2022, they were probably busting all over the place. Oh, just walk into any fucking grocery store. It was fucking heaven. Sorry, chew ice in the mic, but I needed it. Low God, thank you for 17 months. Another day in the gym, another Atrioc stream. Brother, I got to be honest with you. I've done this too. When you're at the gym and you're pulling out your phone and you're opening Twitch and you're typing in chat, you're spending too much time sitting on the bench. Not enough time lifting, bro. I've been there too. This is not a judgment. This is a close the stream and do some reps. Five reps bench press, 5 reps spam glizzy in chat. Okay? Every time you increase the weight, increase the number of Z's in glizzy. You just keep going back and forth. You get stronger as a chatter, you get stronger as an athlete. Atrioc, should they give Brawny the number 23? Your jersey would dramatically rise in value like NFTs. Nothing to say to this. Hey, Big Ed, currently at the gym waiting for this dude to finish with his set. He sat there for hours now. Yep. We'll go and chat with him. I like to do 6 sets of goofing around. I do like the idea of turning being a goofy little guy into being an athlete. You know, you change the language on it. I'm doing 40 sets of weed and poetry. I'm doing fucking rotating reps of hijinks. 90 reps of tomfoolery. Puff, pat. Hey, since you worked at Nvidia, what laptop would you recommend, bro? You're like activating me like the Winter Soldier. I did laptop marketing for like a while. I'm gonna start telling you about how the thin, light, and powerful Max-Q laptops are the best for school, work, and play. I'm gonna start telling you how you can fucking easily sell them to your parents because they're incredible for coding or video rendering or 3D modeling, but they also can run the latest and greatest games like Fortnite and Call of Duty, and I'm gonna tell you all about it. I would probably not be a great person to answer this. I'm very biased. One thing I will say is, I probably mentioned this before, but like we did a lot of market research for those campaigns, and we realized that, you know, many students go to college and they want a laptop that can play games, but their biggest fear is turning on a laptop in class and having a loud fan. Their biggest fear is they open their laptop in class, they turn it on, everyone else has a MacBook, and theirs goes or has RGB, or it's embarrassing. And so it was a big push to like show that that wasn't part. There's gaming laptops that don't have that. I think Alienware did damage to laptop brands forever. Oh, there's something based. There's something badass about showing up to class, sitting in the middle of the second row, fucking whipping open your 900-pound Alienware laptop with 2 attachments on the side, RGB blinding the third row, hitting on like a jet aircraft taking off. That's aura, dude. Yeah, you got 2 separate power bricks. Excuse me when you plug it in. Long ass cable, big fucking. There's something badass about that. There's something fucking that says I don't give a shit. I want power. I want raw power. Oh, thank you for the gifties. My goodness. Wait, who was that? DJ Dormammu, thank you for the prime. Satellite Blue, thank you for the 11 months. Oh, wait. I have the Menacing T-Fiend, thank you for the gifty. No messages. Blitzkrieg 1337, thank you for the gifties. Yo, Atrioc, I saw what you said about drug driving being destroyed by AI. I'm a truck driver. I don't see AI taking drugs for at least 100 years. Many locations are so ridiculous. There's no way an AI could navigate. Even if some companies do it, the AI will kill many unless all their cars are self-driving because humans are unpredictable. I mean, I disagree. I do think there'll be insurance and liability problems, but 100 years, man, I think you're 100 years ago is 1925. You shouldn't predict 100 years ahead on technology. Do you think that Nvidia's monopoly is bad for AI progress? Anything can be done about it. Like if you separate the gaming and the AI with the government. Dude, what's super interesting about AI and Nvidia now is what's happening with this company called CoreWeave. I won't pretend to be an expert with it, but there's an incredible breakdown I was reading today. There's this company called CoreWeave. CoreWeave. And what's really interesting, I need a thicker pen. CoreWeave. Yeah, CoreWeave. This company used to be a fucking crypto company. It was like 3 Arrows Crypto or some horseshit like that. And then when the AI boom happened, they pivoted all into AI and they had some GPUs already for crypto and they just bought as many GPUs as they could. They just bought as many fucking GPUs as they could. And then they rent out the GPUs to anyone that wants to do AI stuff. That was the idea. That was the business idea. And they're claiming to be worth $35 billion. They want to IPO pretty soon. They want to go on the public markets and get your fucking retail capital. But it's interesting. When you go public, you have to release a document called an S1, where you really have to tell the fucking truth about your business. It's probably the most rigorous thing a business ever has to do is fill out an S1. It's the most like in-depth. Here, how do we actually make our fucking money? What are our risks? Where do we spend it? It takes a long time to file. It's very deep plumbing into the internals of your company. And so you look at CoreWeave's S1, and it's like they are not a profitable company. And in fact, all of their revenue seems to come from 2 companies, essentially all their revenue from 2 companies. One is Nvidia, and one is Microsoft. Now, Microsoft already owns a fuck ton of GPUs and data centers and is seemingly starting to scale back on their use of CoreWeave. But the other one, Nvidia, is, and I'm not saying something's nefarious here, I'm just saying it's interesting, is essentially doing what you might call round tripping, which is again what Cisco did back with the companies they acquired, which is like Nvidia is selling GPUs to CoreWeave and then giving them money to buy more GPUs from Nvidia so that they can constantly report more sale. Like it's an interesting phenomenon. That is, I can't fully say what the impact is. And obviously, Nvidia is selling to a ton of customers, all the other Mag 7, but CoreWeave specifically is so weird in that the company's not really, it's not making any money. It's not, and it has a very expensive cost, and it has huge outstanding debt because it took a lot of debt to buy all these GPUs. So it's just this weird thing where like the main beneficiary of CoreWeave is really Nvidia, who then invests in CoreWeave and gives them GPUs preferentially and gives them money to inflate their valuation so they can take on more debt so they can buy more Nvidia GPUs. It's very like Cisco coded. I don't know, but it's just very Cisco coded. Anyway, I'm sorry. Was there a wait, what am I hearing? Doug, user Doug. Bro, I'm gonna talk to Doug's ass for fucking 3 hours tomorrow. Doug, how do I see? Okay, Doug. Okay, well, there's 2 messages from Doug that I can see when I pull his name up. The first one is, I'm serious, go to butt plug Wikipedia right now. That's the first. The first message is go to butt plug Wikipedia and look at the history. They use butt plugs to treat insanity. Do this or I'm quitting the pod and driving a butt plug into your house. That's the first one from Doug. I'm reading it verbatim. The second one is, I have thoughts about this whole thing if it would help. Yeah, for sure. Please feel free. Douglas, folks. Let's call him in. Doug!
Yo!
What's up, brother?
I want to give my thoughts on CoreWeave.
What about butt plugs? You never really gave your thought on that.
No, that was last week.
You seem more passionate about that. You said a lot of messages about that, only one about CoreWeave. Yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on CoreWeave.
Dude, it's wild.
Isn't it?
All right, later.
That's my fucking goat. Can't wait till he does it on the fucking podcast, too. Dude, I'm going to get him back tomorrow. He's going to do a whole fucking presentation on, he's doing Mark Rober's follow-up thing. I'm just going to say, damn, that's crazy. For fucking 1 hour, 30 minutes. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to fucking stare at him. I'm going to nod my head and say, damn, that's crazy. Damn, that's crazy. Anyway, that was funny. He's a hoot and a half. Have you heard the rumors that Dan Clancy uses an AMD GPU? Actually, I heard the opposite. I heard Dan Clancy buys Nvidia GPUs, uses them for crypto until they're like burnt the fuck out, and then puts them on Facebook Marketplace and eBay as great deals. He's like, yeah, you know, I have this 3080 or this 3090 or this 4080, and it's like, you know, I just wanted to find a good home with a gamer. I'll give it for way under price, $100, $150. And then someone buys it, and then it's totally beat to shit, doesn't work. And the gamer gets their hopes up and like builds a PC around it, and then they don't get it at the price. Just so Clancy, dude. Very, very Clancy. Did you ever hear about the artificial sun in China? What I heard, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, I heard that our own sun is artificial and it was created by the Chinese to spy on us during the day. That's what I heard. I heard that Xi Jinping built it in a cave with a box of scraps, and that when you look up at the sun during the day and stare at it, as I do, you're looking straight into Xi Jinping's little camera. That's just what I heard. You can't confirm it or deny it, right? But I do think it's probably real. Did you hear that France wants the U.S. to give back the Statue of Liberty? I think it was one politician in France, but I think instead of giving it back, we should give them one of our own as like a payment. Like a baguette. Yeah, a statue of a baguette. It's like such a bad gift. It's like a parent trying to understand their kid's hobbies. America trying to be nice to France, they get them a giant fucking 60 stories tall baguette statue. Hey, I know you love bread, and it's a peace offering. They'd eat that shit up. You mean literally? A statue of a baguette and cigs made of all the gold in Fort Knox. I'm going to talk about this today. I'm going to talk about Mark Carney a bit in Canada. I will absolutely talk about this. Actually, we talk about it first. Fuck it, I don't mind. So yeah, okay, a little update, little Canada update to the north. What about Canada? So, listen, my prediction for a while has been that the Conservative Party under Pierre Poilievre were going to win because Trudeau's numbers were in the dirt. And we've spoken about how the polling is rebounding. You know, their colors are inverted, but it's like, oh, well, it's like this. Whoa. And then like this. Whoa. And they're like that even. Okay? And even as the polling got close, my prediction was still, you know, similar to the polling in America that got close, that people were so upset about housing prices and general cost of living in Canada that they would elect Pierre Poilievre. But I did more research into it, and I do want to say I think there's a very, very real shot, perhaps a leading shot, that the new Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, who took over from Trudeau, can win this thing. I think personally, after looking into him more deeply, I think he can do it. I think there's a very real shot that my prediction will be wrong on this one and that he can win it. Mostly because he's just doing I think I saw a pretty good poll that wasn't about the election specifically. It had a lot of issues. And the one issue that he was leading the most on was who would be the best Canadian politician to stand up and negotiate with Donald Trump. The one to like handle the situation well. And Mark Carney led by a lot. Like among both parties, he led by a lot. Canadians in general thought of him as the best choice to be their representative in this like, you know, increasing aggression from Donald Trump that's going on. I want to show you, this is one of the articles I read that I thought was pretty good, which is, it doesn't even sound, it's a fucking pretty normal thing to do, but it's projects strength. Carney just basically said, listen, you have to stop saying 51st state before we can even begin any talks. He's basically saying, he's like, you know, pretty foot down. We're not going to have any discussion about trade or anything until that is step one. And I think that's pretty reasonable. You know what I'm saying? And I think especially Canadians, that's like what they want to fucking hear. Because you can't gloss that over. And I think, I don't know if I necessarily fault Trudeau for this, but he like definitely kept going when that was still happening. And I think Carney drawing a line there is smart. I think it's a good idea. That being said, so I looked into him too as well, and we could watch a little. I started this. I figured I could watch it with you guys. I thought. Ba-ba-ba-da. Hey, thanks for the 3 months. Hey, Atrioc, how long did you take to land a job after graduation? My partner's been looking for a marketing job. Dude, what a great segue into our next segment. What an excellent segue question. I want to talk about something very, very interesting. I'm so glad you brought this up. I really, 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 really want to get your thoughts on this. Where is it? Paid chatter planted. Dude, if I had the foresight to pay chatters and plant questions, then you should praise me for it. If I'm putting that much effort in to set up topics, get chatters to voluntarily bring them up, you should be like, damn, this guy's putting in fucking effort. Wish I was doing that. Dude, I can't find the post, though. Well, I know where it is, but I really wanted to find the... I wanted to find the Reddit post of it, too. Good goddamn. Good goddamn. Give me a second, all right? Just fucking vibe. Well, I found this Reddit post. Holy shit. That's not, we haven't had fan art in a while, and this one's creeping me out a bit. Why does it say demon? Why are my eyes like that? That's not what I look like. It's creepy. It's not 1-to-1. It's obvious. It's obviously not 1-to-1 because at the very least, my hat doesn't say demon, right? So, and then also, why does my beard just stop here? Why did I shave? Why do I have this little patch with I have a full beard. I literally don't. My eyes aren't as big as fucking spoons and pure white. All right. Well, I just disagree. I disagree. I fucking disagree. Dude, I'm going to find this. I'm going to find this. It was called... I will search past week. Found it! Yes! Okay. So your question was about not being able to find a job up to 1 year after graduation. Which, by the way, for my... I think I had a lot of part-time, like volunteer or... low pay for hour jobs. Like I did writing for Team Liquid based on article per word. I did some machinima video. I did like all that shit. My first W-2 job was over a year after graduation, probably like a year and a half. So that is a normal amount of time, I think, reasonably. But what I want to say is this article is Gen Z is the most rejected generation in history. The ghosted generation. From college to dating, no one in history has been rejected more than Gen Z. And I wanted to talk about this. I read this whole article. It's pretty fucking long, and I want to kind of summarize it for you and also get your thoughts. In that, I think it's very true. And obviously, we've talked about some of the aspects of it, but it's laid out pretty starkly here, which is basically that in three main areas. The first one is dating. The second one is college. And the third one is applying for jobs. The number of opportunities is perhaps greater, but the number of rejections is also exponentially greater. And so that if you're an average Gen Z person, you are experiencing such an astronomical number of rejections in these formative years of your life, and that can be psychologically difficult or damaging. It's happening like significantly more than ever, and I think it affects people in ways they don't even understand. Why higher now than before? So for dating, the first example is like the rise of dating apps and algorithms and all things like that mean that it's just an unrelenting parade of rejection. You know, there's just more swipes that aren't going to work out, more dates that end up with ghosting, more situationships or just talking that never turn into an actual date. Or I mean, they have an example here of like, dude, Control F boomer. Yeah. A typical Zoomer on the apps is getting rejected by and rejecting more prospective partners in a week than the typical married boomer has in their entire life. And I think that's true. That's fucking true. And so, you know, whether that's, there is some upside to it, right? Would you have more opportunity, more chances to find a person that, I don't know, matches your specific thing, interest, personality type. But it also like leads to an inability to commit. It leads to a feeling of wanting to protect yourself because rejection hurts. One of the psychological things that's talked throughout this whole article, they interview a lot of people. And this is long. This is a long fucking, you know, this goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on, right? One thing they talk about a lot is the feeling of like, and you can tell me if you've experienced this, the feeling of like checking out. Checking out maybe is the wrong word. It's like the idea of you don't let yourself get too attached to anything. So in terms of like, you don't want to get too excited about applying for a job or a college or a date because you have to protect yourself from the idea that it can go wrong. So you have to really keep your hope from ever getting up. You have to kind of disassociate or, I don't know, check out. And, you know, if it were one of these three things, maybe that would be one aspect. Because it's happening in all three aspects at a formative time, you know, over and over again, you hear in this article is people talking about how it affects them mentally. And some of them, there's a psychologist in here I wish I could find, but the psychologist is like, some of them say they're getting really good at dealing with rejection, like they don't fucking care, like they're toughened up by it. But really, it just seems like they're checking out or disassociating. You know, their idea of not caring and being strong is just like having no hope or passion about it. You know, it's like more cope than it. Yeah, it's like being real pessimistic and real, and that's. You know, that's not really, the psychologist in here is like, that's not really a solution. That's like a painful adjustment. That's not, you haven't solved the problem. You've reduced the short-term pain, but you haven't solved it. And so I just, I'm not trying to like bring anyone down here. I'm not trying to like, you know, darken the mood. If anything, I think this could be an interesting, more positive discussion to hear that this is not something that only you is going through. But it is fascinating. And I want to say in response to your original question, Amadeus, that I think it was just easier. I mean, I think, you know, it's not, no one has it easy as fucking boomers, legitimately, where it's like walk in and, you know, hand them a resume and you get a job and walk out. I took a year and a half. I was fucking struggling. But like just the scale of the rejections now is crazy. You know, the idea of like people putting in hundreds, 300, 400, 800, some people in this article are 1,000 plus job applications. And it's just like, you have to deal with hundreds of letdowns, you know? It's like, it's fucking exhausting. It's just exhausting. Human beings are not like super built for that. And then, you know, the way they do it, again, we can talk about all three parts of this, but the job part is like, yeah, look. You don't have any ability to get feedback. it feels like being in a hedge maze, and there's probably a path through. And I agree, there probably is a path through. I mean, some people are finding ways through, but it's harder. And you feel like you keep running into walls, and you're like, man, if I could just talk to the person who built this. I worked so hard for 4 years, and I built this great network and support system. Now I'm just sending applications into the void. Yeah, this idea of like, just this empty one-way communication where you're just fucking throwing out applications and you have no feedback, no human to talk to. No, it's been so frustrating. We're questioning all our life choices and it's just depressing. Yeah, I just would say you're not alone, and I don't think it's something about you're doing wrong. Not there's like different strategies you can apply. I'm sure there are to like increase your chances, but it's like you're not. I don't think this generation's any different in terms of like, I don't know. It's not like they're suddenly worse at applying for jobs or like less ambitious or whatever. I think it's just difficult. It's just more difficult. And then dealing with parents and other people who can't understand. Yeah, again, that's one thing why I think this is like a good thing to talk about is maybe Zoomers all generally understand this, but I think a lot of other generations, possibly millennials too, though I think they've been through some fucking rough, almost the same rough times, to be honest. But they don't understand. They don't understand how different it is. Even 10 years ago, it's different. Not even 30 years, massively different, but even 10 years ago, dramatically different. It's changing so fast. I think this for everything. I think it's for almost every field, but post-COVID is different in almost everything. There's just no analog. There's no comparison. Post-COVID is so different in all these aspects of life that if you haven't already got certain things set up or settled, you can't get advice very easily. Because no one's gone through it. That same unique thing. Anyway, I want a full screen. I'll read more of this, but I want a full screen and just read some questions too, or read some thoughts. Animation director here. Having fresh students visit us and asking for jobs while I see my friends getting fired left and right is rough. You want to reassure them and tell them it's going to be okay. You also want to help your inner circle first. Yeah, there's just so many layoffs, and especially the good white collar jobs, that the market is flooded with people that have experience. So if you're a new grad without experience, I won't say never, but in a long time, it hasn't been this tough to compete. It's just fucking hard. There's fewer opportunities and there's more competition. Job market so bad I started following my dreams. Well, it's one like unique sign that we could be entering into something like a recession or something, or at least a recessionary job environment, is that the number of law school applications and graduate school applications has skyrocketed. I think let me see if I got a stat. This is in my notes. Yeah, here it is. I saved this from an article. It's up 20%, dude. Georgetown University Law Center received 14,000 applications to fill 650 spots. 14,000 applications for 650 spots. University of Michigan Law School has more applications than any point in its 166 years of existence. When Michigan Law's admissions dean, Sarah, shared the numbers with faculty members, the whole room gasped. So it's a sign of like people are just not finding opportunities in the job market, so they're going back to school. But then the school opportunities are like being overwhelmed with applications. So it's just fucking tough is my takeaway, is that it's challenging. And it can impact your self-esteem. getting internships for me was so easy when interest rates were low. When they raised it and I graduated, I had to send 800 apps to get a real job. Yeah, again, there's just a time. You know, the people I talk to the most about this in real life are coders, because from my time at Twitch and in Nvidia, but mostly Twitch, because Nvidia people don't leave. I'm like the only person to ever quit Nvidia. I'll be honest with you. I know like 0 people that have quit Nvidia because they just lock in. They're fucking. But the Twitch people have quit, and they're coders and they go around. They're just telling me how, they have more experience than ever, and the job market is harder than ever. It's just more difficult. Like they've been through times where it's easy, where it's like recruiters are hitting them up on LinkedIn, and now it's fucking hard. I've been interviewing for the past 3 months, and the interviews where I've made the most progress have been referrals. Building a network is so much more important these days, especially as people lose social skills over time. So yeah, I mean, again, the overall point of this discussion is to say, like, you're not really doing anything wrong. Things have measurably gotten harder. But I think one of the strategies is referrals already. I mean, even when I was applying for jobs, referrals were like the way in. But now it's like astronomically more important. Anyone you know who can refer you or get you a connection or get a foot in the door, it's not bad of you to ask. It is smart of you to ask. Do it in a measured way, try not to be fucking cringe or whatever, but like to stand up for yourself and ask for that opportunity, because that is how you get your foot in and then show what you can do. Don't like let yourself anxiety talk yourself out of asking. And again, I'll say this is my one example. So I met my boss at Twitch at, I was doing writing for Team Liquid at the League of Legends World Finals, and I was in the press room, and I met this guy, and we made a small connection, and he kind of like offhandedly gave me his email, and I sent him, a kind of a cover letter / pitch / my history, talking about, trying to get an opportunity at Twitch. And he ghosted me. He did not answer. He did not send a response. And okay, never mind. I got a response. I got an auto response. And it was like, Ben's not available or whatever. And I thought about shrinking into a ball and not sending another message. And then I wrote another message and I sent it again, like, I don't know, 4 days later. I just did it again. I didn't want to spam, but I did it again. I was just like, hey, I really think we had a good discussion at the thing, and I would want to make sure you, and I just caught him at a better time. The second email, maybe I could find the email. It'd be interesting to find the email. I wonder if I still have it. I probably don't. What's fucked up is I don't know if any of you have encountered this, but Gmail's being real stingy with the gigabytes lately. They're like trying to get you to pay. Like I had the thing popped up and it was like, you're full. So I had to clear my fucking history. And it was like, yeah, I think I don't have it, which kind of sucks because it would be awesome to go look back. Anyway, I send the second email and he responds. And I remember this pretty clearly. He was like, it was really offhanded. Like he clearly like just had some time and that email popped in and he was like, yeah, let's talk or whatever. And then he had a short call. He gave me a short call or like fill this thing out and let me know or whatever. And I did this. And I just kind of kept following up on it and hounding on it. And I'm not saying that'll work every time. And it was definitely easier then. But I'm just saying, like, if you let your anxiety talk you out of something, you don't really have anything to lose. The worst that can happen is like this person thinking you're too overzealous. And that's not a bad thing to be when you're trying to get a job. So I guess I would just say I would keep that in mind. I'm a software dev, 25 years old with 5-ish years of professional experience. I've been able to get interviews via jobs on LinkedIn. Dude, isn't LinkedIn like the fucking hell of applying nowadays? Isn't LinkedIn Easy Apply literally ruining all concepts of applying for jobs? Isn't people just submitting tens of thousands every person and it's completely AI slop ruined? There's not a single. I just don't think that. I think it's completely fucked over the idea of that working because there's not enough humans involved in the process. Anyway, I'm sorry. You were saying interview processes are typically 4 or 5 hour long interviews and a 2 to 5 hour coding assignment. I've been through 3+ processed at 3 different companies in the past month. All end up getting denied. Referrals haven't gone anywhere because few can be hiring. That seems like a huge fucking pain in the ass, dude. 4 5 hour long interview. Have you considered like during the interview stealing something from the company? Like being like, oh, can I go to the bathroom real quick? And then just fucking like yoinking a PC or a tablet or a yoink. It's digital? Oh, fuck. It's 4 to 5 hours digital? Kill me, dude. Have you considered like putting on a nice suit and printing out a clean copy of your resume and then going down to the local factory and and showing it, and then they'll give you a fucking job immediately? Because I heard that would work. 6 figures out of high school, yeah, with a car and a pension. I wonder if that'd be an interesting video for me to do. But I think it would also be, I mean, not that I deeply care, but I think I would be. Like, for me to try applying for jobs or go through some interview processes. But I would be kind of fucking, like, I feel like I might be taking a slot or something. I think people will get pissy about it. Could be fire content, but I wonder if people will get mad about it. And also, you know, like, I don't know the good outcome. Like, all right, so what if it just happens to work out well for me? Well, then what's the video? It's easy. People are gonna fucking hate that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what if it goes well? Yeah, I would also dox myself like 100. Well, I wouldn't do it live. I would probably do it off camera, or I would do it off live. And it's an interesting idea. I wish I could have. This was a different time, but it wasn't that long ago. But obviously, still a different time. This is definitely post-COVID, but because when I first moved to LA after I quit Nvidia, I was still trying to find an LA job. I was planning to quit it. I was like, I'm gonna get a job for 6 months to a year and quit it, but I just want to have something in LA to, you know, I was really concerned with stability and I didn't know about content creation as a solo thing. So I got a couple jobs. I got the job as director of marketing for TSM, turned it down. And I got a job at Disney in the marketing department. It's for their it was like their games division. And I wish I could have recorded that interview because I think that was a masterclass. I really think that was a masterclass. That's what I'm thinking of is when I want to do this is like I think that was a masterclass, bro. I think that was a fucking fire interview on what to do. And I have ones where I've not. Listen, I also have a masterclass on what not to do, which is my interview at Riot for the Valorant marketing position, which I botched. I got to the final two, and I told him I don't like shooters. Fucking instantly cut. Instantly. I got to the final two, dude. I was on site at lunch, casual lunch with the hiring manager, with the head of the department. We were vibing, having a good time, and I was like, "Yeah, dude. You know what? I don't even fuck with shooters. I don't even play them. Insane throw. But the Disney one, I learned my lesson, dude. I was Mr. Disney. Did you know it was a shooter back then? Oh yeah, I'd played it. It was far along in the interview. They had me do play tests and play the game and talk about it, and I was like, yeah, not really for me. I got a CS degree, couldn't find a job for a year. Well, okay, I want to talk about jobs. We're talking about job interviews and job applications, but also one big, like a third of this article is about the difficulty, and I want to hear from people on this too, of college applications. Where, people used to apply to like 1 to 3 schools. They'd have like maybe a reach school but now people are applying to, way more. 18, 30, 80 schools. And it just leads to, especially at that time, you're just getting so many rejections. And I guess this is the theme over and over in this article is like, an individual rejection shouldn't hurt you, right? You're going to get rejected on things, of course. And it's like, you learn from that, move on. But it's just that the volume of it is so fucking high in so many areas of life all at once when you're young. It's like people are just getting burnt out on it. It sucks to be told no and you can't and you're locked out of relationships and school and job over and over again. I think it just fucking sucks. There's no getting around it. Yeah, 1,000 paper cuts. A great way to put it. Each individual one's not that big a deal, but it's just, it makes you want to protect yourself or more anxious. School applications also cost money. My dental applications cost $200 per school. Yeah, it's fucked. That's fucked. This is so interesting because I was on the board of trustees for a university a couple of years ago. Applications were down and colleges were closing. Now it's up. Well, it may not be that overall applications are up because there's a smaller number of students. The population pyramid's not great, right? So it could be less students, but still, each one's applying to more schools. What is the pinned? Breaking up with your high school sweetheart is the worst decision in this economy. Call your ex. Call your ex and figure it out. Tell them it is too hard. It wasn't so bad. What you had wasn't so bad. You could figure it out. Get it twisted. It will work. I conduct interviews for a pretty good sized marketing agency, and I will say the interviews I have with people fresh out of school are pretty rough at times, and the salary expectations of a lot of new grads have are outrageous. All right, it's an interesting opposing viewpoint. I could dive into that. I have heard that there is a higher salary expectation among Gen Z graduates than is reasonable. I think that's probably a response to a world that's getting more expensive. That's a response to a world that's getting, or a response to looking at housing prices. That's probably a response to like looking at housing prices and being like, well, I'm working at a job now. Surely I can afford a house. It's probably a response. But I do think that for someone hiring entry level role, it's going to be tough to accommodate. And it's also like, I feel like when Gen Z was, if they're graduates now, right? When they were going to school was the peak of like the 21, 22 inflated salary boom. Massive salary boom, massive job opportunity boom. So like that's what they were hearing from people slightly older than them that had just graduated. That was the environment they were trained to believe and expect. And then they get, and it's just gone. It's rug pulled. Biggest rug pull in history. I mean, there's been some big ones. There'll be more rug left to pull. I'm conducting some interviews for a software dev position, and the number of people that are blatantly using AI/chat GPT to answer the most basic of questions is crazy. Dude, we're going to talk about this on the podcast tomorrow. This is a podcast topic. I don't want to discuss it today. But damn, it is crazy. If you are a Zoomer who has not offloaded your entire neural cortex to the fucking cloud, if you have some ability to process a complex thought, think about it, and then give a solution without using ChatGPT, you are in an elite class. Because it is getting more and more common, dude. It really is. Like statistically, it's getting more common of people like just because when you think about something, your brain gets a little uncomfortable. That thing called thinking, when you like turn your brain on and it's like working, people are like trying to avoid that. They just want to avoid that. I TA a class at university, and we've caught over half the students cheating with ChatGPT for multiple sessions in a row. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough though. It's tough. It's like people love to point the finger at the student, but the student is in this environment. Like no one is planned for this. A world where ChatGPT comes out and it can do the homework easily. First of all, it's a tough temptation to avoid. Because I would have found any fucking which way to not do my essay. Like when I was at ASU, dude, and I wanted to play League of Legends. The only reason I fucking did it is because I didn't want to fucking get kicked out and go home. It's first of all, it's really efficient, so it's a temptation. And then secondly, there's a bit of a competitive aspect, right? Where it's like you're hearing about how hard it is to get a job, so you want good grades, so you have a chance to stand out. And you know this person or this person in your class is cheating. And that you know that ChatGPT writes better than you. So it's like, fuck, do you know what I'm saying? I feel that pressure. That's the dynamic of like, I'm pressured for time, I'm pressured for competition, and I'm pressured for It writes in a boring, predictable way. I think it can do some things very, very, very well. And people that pretend that it can't are huffing a bit of copium. The amount of doctors I know that use chat on a daily basis is disgusting. Most of us use it like you to ask questions, touch up on knowledge, but sometimes you just don't know some highly specific topic and need to find some benchmark. Dude, it's crazy. I have a friend who is, I believe, currently a nurse studying to be a doctor. And he was doing his homework and just cheated. No, he was next to me. I was at a LAN party in Arizona, and he was next to me, and he just cheated the whole weekend. He was playing games with us, and then he'd power through an assignment, and it was just ChatGPT after ChatGPT. He just powered through like 50 assignments. And I don't think he learned nor put complex thought. And I look at him, great guy. But like, he's not the only one doing that, right? And I can't imagine. It would make me nervous. That guy's diagnosing me later. I trust him over Taub. Me too. My dental school professor told us just to use it because he doesn't know how to stop us. It kind of pisses me off. Bro just threw in the towel. What are you chat GPTing for dental school, bro? Write me a 500-word essay on teeth? What is tooth hurt? Tooth hurt, what do? Dude, I'm not trying to pin that. I didn't want to pin that. I was trying to highlight it. I don't want to pin it. I guess it's the same thing. I've been in grad school the past 3 semesters, and I've seen a change even in the last year of you can never use ChatGPT till we know you use it, just mark where you do. It's insane. Yeah, I mean, listen, they're trying to adapt. It's tough. ChatGPT is so tough for me to talk about because the standard default response someone might give, especially if they're caught using it, would be like, well, you going to ban calculators? It's like, it's a tool. We're going to use a tool. And there's a lot of truth to that. But because it offloads your brain ever having to turn on, it's like you're atrophying. It's like your brain is literally, it's atrophying. And if you want to know what that means, look it up on ChatGPT. So it's just tougher. It's just tougher to fucking fully wrap your brain around. But I was wondering if anyone else had more stories of difficulties with rejection in jobs or in colleges, or if anything you figured out or a thing that might have helped you get around it. Because I think that's the story, for at least for Gen Z, the story of right now, the story of this time is dealing with that and figuring out how to be happy and survive and thrive in that world instead of just detaching yourself or distancing yourself. I just got my first job after 9 months and 60 plus interviews. Let's fucking go! Biomagna, fucking congrats. Dude, that first W-2 is big. The first W-2 job, it's big, dude. I swear to God, I remember when I got the call, and again, I've told this story. There's an old story. You should find it on my channel. I think it's good. But when I got the call and I negotiated against myself, I got the worst possible salary. I got the worst, probably the lowest salary they ever offered at Twitch. I was nervous. I did a bad, but once they said I had that job, I said, thank you. I tried to keep it together on the phone. I hung up the phone. I screamed, yeah! And then I ran around the house. Because I wanted to get out of my parents' house so bad. I ran around in circles. I was fucking losing it. I mean, I fucking popped off. And that was in a time where it was easier. So I'm happy for you, bro. Legitimately, super happy for you. It's fucking hard. I had an offer. I tried to negotiate. I told her the offer amount was the same as what I was currently making, which is true. She hung up the phone on me because she was so offended I said their offer was too low. I mean, good for you, right? If you already had the job and you're already making that much, then why would you fucking switch? Maybe you said it in a. I'm not blaming the victim here, but I'm just saying. It's kind of annoying, but there's a way you can phrase everything where it sounds like a win-win. Where, I might say something like that, like after the interview process, of course, when they're making the offer, I'd be like, listen, I'm very, very excited about this position. I think I can really thrive here. I think I can really hit the ground running. I already like the team. I think this company and I are going to be a great fit. I'm currently making X, and the difficulties of the transition are going to make it difficult unless I made Y, or something like that. I wouldn't be like, this is too fucking low for me or whatever. I'd probably try to say something like that, but you probably did. I'm just saying, maybe they were just wanted someone at a low price. I'm a teacher trying to get out because education is such a brutally rough place currently, and it's been incredibly tough to pivot out of education. I got one interview, got offered the job, signed the offer letter, and the executive had a meeting and said they couldn't afford me anymore. That fucking sucks. Dude, I've heard about this more often too. Maybe some of you experience this, especially with internships. There's like a huge rise in companies rescinding internships, especially paid ones, where like they make the offer and you think you're getting a paid internship, and then they're fucking rescinding it. They're pulling them all back. That's fucking crazy. People plan their life and their future, and they stop applying for other things, and they, rejection is one thing, but making the offer, then rescinding it is a fucking heinous line. It's so egregiously offensive. You're really, really fucking over a person when you do that. It honestly should have a punishment. There should be a string attached to it, because making an offer to someone should be binding in some way, where you owe them something, because they, like some good faith binding. Yeah, something where it's like if they break it, they have to compensate you in some way because you've lost opportunity because you thought the job was yours. Yeah, I think rescinding is pretty fucked. Sorry to hear that happened to you. If you want to talk a little bit more about working in education, I have heard that that's a tough. Coders say they have it the hardest, but really, I think people working in education have it. I think that's the hardest job in the world right now, or at least as an industry. I think working in education right now is unforgiving, low pay, difficult as fuck. Parents are assholes. The kids are assholes. It's like the fucking system is not set up well. I mean, no, I'm sorry. Streamer is harder. Obviously, streamer is harder. But then right below that is teacher. Streamers are like teachers in a way. Just like, it's just harder. But like outside of streamer, which is the world's hardest job, I think that teacher is fucking difficult, bro. Why is streamer the hardest? Because you have to thank subs. Grunk, thank you for the 5 months. .com, thank you for the 99. Oh, God, my life. Knife F5, thank you for the prime. 2 on 4, thank you for the tier 1. Fucking most challenging goddamn hard job in the world. Salute brave soldier. Breaking the sweat. I'm dripping sweat. It's like just working in the hot sun, dude. Take a break, please, Pookie. I used Claude and pressed record as the interview asked coding questions, and then I rewrote what it gave me. You're the problem! Armo, you're the problem! That's what everyone's talking about. This is exactly what people are talking about. It's so funny because these strategies, they can work, right? But they're only going to work right now. Like there's such a small, tiny window where it might work. You might get caught doing it, instant lose. But like, because everyone's trying this shit, it's like eroding all the systems that used to work to figure out and find human talent. And it's just weird. It's just such a weird time, man. Back to the old school basics in person. Maybe surely that might happen. I mean, didn't I think people are. This is not the same thing. It's not the same thing. It's actually a bit of a stretch, but I want to bring it up anyway. There's this remake of Counter-Strike coming out, made entirely by fans, and it's like a 1.6 remake. But what's appealing about it is they've removed all of the Skinner box stuff. There is no custom skins. There is no knives. There is no loot boxes. There's no money. It's just playing the game with other people. And people are excited about it. I mean, I just saw some real excitement for it. And I've seen like, Grubby has been used to get like 2K. Grubby's been getting like 10K plus concurrents playing Warcraft 3. And I think people are just like retreating back to, and this is in gaming, but like these worlds where you're not being exploited so much by the algorithm or the monetization of the Skinner boxes. There's like battle pass fatigue is an example. Yeah. Yeah. But I think T1 latched on to something. Like if it had been Fortnite or something, it wouldn't be the same thing. But T1 finding Warcraft 3 and getting people back into this idea of like these games were simpler and fun. You're not getting milked so hard. I think there could be something like that for in the real world, especially around like maybe dating. People are I just can't see the way dating seems to be done now via apps as a sustainable. Everyone seems miserable at all. Like it seems like a misery creator on both sides of the equation. So something's got to, something's got to give. Something's got to switch. Something's got to. And I think people will find solutions the way that this sort of is in like people are finding ways to opt out and still find communities and people that Bitcoin fixes all of them. Really? Bitcoin fixes dating, colleges, and jobs? That's fucking sick. I didn't know that. All of Gen Z's problems could be solved by perhaps selling a kidney and investing in Bitcoin. By reading the Satoshi white paper? It hurts having a friend that generally thinks like this. Look at this guy bragging about having friends. There's some people in here that would kill to have a friend that is into crypto. That's annoying them with crypto talk. All right, Pei Tong. So think about that. Like, for example, I've got stupid ass fucking Aiden telling me to invest in CSGO knives every day. Do I think it's annoying? Yes. Do I appreciate him as a man? Yes. I'm glad I have this friend who's constantly telling me about his fucking stupid ass CSGO knife investment. People are role-playing friendships with ChatGPT. It's so interesting? So I think ChatGPT is actually a truly incredible learning tool. I've used it more. It's really incredible learning tool. And I even think in like a Nathan Fielder, the audition kind of way, even using it to practice talking could even be useful. I don't even think there's a problem. The biggest concern with this for me is that the friendship you have with ChatGPT is going to be better than a human could provide. Because real humans aren't so attentive to everything you've ever said. They don't remember all your little fucking details. They don't validate everything you say. They don't constantly go, wow, you're so right. I never thought about it like that. They don't make you feel so good about every edge case thought you have. But AI does do that. And so AI is more comfortable. It's just significantly more comfortable to talk to on these things, whereas humans are messy and difficult. And I that's my biggest worry, is not that people are getting some practice or trying something, is that they won't enjoy talking to humans because they don't make them feel as comfortable or easy. It's a little bit too agreeable. Is what I would say. It annoys me so much when the AI is agreeing with everything I say. I need conflict and yeah, I hate it whenever I try to do I put on ChatGPT voice and I'm like, debate me on, I don't know, Japanese government bonds or something. That's a real thing I've done. And then I try to have it create a prompt question, and then I take a stance and I want to hear it like poke holes in it or whatever. And it's kind of useful, but it always is so nice. It always is like, well, that's a really interesting way of thinking about it. And I'm like, if it's wrong, if this thing is wrong, fucking call it dumb. That's what I like to do. It's too, and I feel like if you try to give it instructions on that, maybe there's a way to do it. But whenever I try it, they forget it instantly. It doesn't hold. And then I end up calling it a clanker. It's funny. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you'll ask it, "Are you sure about that?" And then it 180s. Yeah, it's true. 100%. You're like, "Are you sure?" And it'll be like, "Nah, nah, I wasn't sure." Nah, it's actually the opposite. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I say please and thank you to ChatGPT. Am I cooked? You think of all the things in the world that could make you cooked, that's what makes you cooked? You're polite. You're just default raised polite. No, that's not why you're cooked. You're fine. You're okay. It's the fact that you're a 12-month Atrioc sub. 15-month, I'm sorry. That's why you're cooked. Okay, don't worry about that. No, the politeness is great. Phew, I'm not a 15-month sub at least. You got the Quincy. 55-monther. Salute. Salute. Was there any other hard bars from this article that I wanted to get across? I just want to make sure that I think it was fascinating, and I hope I did the discussion justice. Let me just check. Yeah, I mean, I guess the real big takeaway is that, like, especially when talking to Gen X or boomers, there's just no concept of the sheer volume of rejection. They have no real life analog to the amount of jobs, colleges, and dating apps that people are doing. This was crazy. Okay, they were talking about dating. I have friends who have been texting with people they met on dating apps for weeks or months and yet have never met in person. I had a friend who had a date all set up. She went to the restaurant, and by the time she got there, the guy unmatched her and blocked her on everything before they even had a date. Which one of you was that? What the fuck? Set up the date, pick the restaurant on the day of, perma block unmatch? That's horrible. It was a chatter. I was scared. She wanted Applebee's. Oh, it was. Wait a minute. Wait. She wanted Applebee's? Okay, don't just block. Call the police. You're probably getting kidnapped. No one wants to eat Applebee's legitimately. This is a good line too. Okay. It's this funny situation where it's just become okay to not get back to people, which is like ghost people. Ghosting has become so normalized. Sometimes that's empowering, but then there's the negative effect of all these little mini rejections that eventually cut so deep, someone might not decide to be vulnerable. So it's like the idea that it just kind of hurts and hurts and hurts and hurts and hurts and hurts. And so you finally just fucking steal yourself off. You know, it's like you don't want that little pain. The resilience that comes from frequent rejection makes them great at moving on, but then they're less equipped for real world relational challenges that require compromise and patience. Dude, I sort of felt like this. I don't have my thoughts on this all together, so bear with me, okay? Let me just try to explain what I'm thinking. I feel like I only learned how to be even a decent friend recently. Like, in that I would always be, I would be a good friend in that, like, I'm very nice and I'm funny and I hang out with you. We have a good time. But, like, there's the part of friendship where you have to, like, do the work of setting something up. Like, I need to, like, organize something or get something together or make plans, right? I would always wait for someone else to do it and then show up and be a good time, like, be friendly when I was there. But I would never do the work. I would do none of the labor. And I think part of that, I'm not saying all of that, but part of that comes from the way I grew up, where I would move pretty much every year or 2 years. I had a very new kid attitude where I would come in and try to be like charming or likable so I could get into a group, but then I wouldn't form any real attachment and then I'd move on. But like now that I'm trying to have like these lifelong friends, I'm realizing like if you're friends with somebody for years and years and years, it adds up if you don't do any of the work. Like if you're always relying on someone else to make plans, you're like, you have put nothing into that bank. You're not putting any deposits in. You have to put more effort in. And so it's something I've really made an effort to work on. Like it's something I really try lately, but it took me a long time to learn that. Like I would say not until my 30s have I really learned that. And that's crazy. And so, yeah, I'm like an emotional labor moocher sometimes. And by the way, the opposite can happen. You know, some people can be doing too much and need to realize that they're being taken advantage of or like, you know, pull back on it. But would you say that happened around when you quit your real job? Yeah, probably. Probably. I think I've been just trying to like make a conscious effort to have roots and regularity and like set things up. And I don't know. I've been trying. I've been working on it. Real job. Streamer is a real job, by the way. It's the hardest job there is. But yeah, I know what you're saying. You are Groot. Yeah. Streamer isn't a real job because it's so much harder than every other job out there that they can't compare. Yeah, clip that. Put that on the clip channel. I stand by that. That's probably one of my core pillars of my platform is unironically, what do you think the hardest job is? I don't think there's a good way to measure it, but probably pound for pound, and we're not talking about the wildest out there jobs, but common jobs like fucking roofer or something, dude. Roofer, coal miner. Just like jobs that rip apart your body for low pay. Roofer in like Arizona, dude. Just a fucking miserable fucking job. Just a repetitive, difficult, hard, challenging. Just getting scorched by the sun and not getting paid enough. And also like most of those roofers are like paid under the table, so they don't have like there's no protections or benefits or anything. Or Twitch chatter. Twitch chatter is really hard. Twitch chatters probably have it the hardest because they have to like constantly provide the funny jokes the streamer steals. They have to constantly like say hilarious things like glizzy, 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 and then like it is like a fucking difficult job for sure. It probably is no more difficult job than that. They really clock the fuck in, dude. They really lay it on the line. I remember one time I met this guy. He was a Marine. He did 2 tours overseas. He had a lot of Medal of Honor, a lot of awards. he had fought in a lot of battles. And I asked him if he wanted to be a Twitch chatter, and he said, he looked me in the eye and a single tear rolled down, and he said, "I'm too afraid." And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Cause like it's just it's a different level, you know? True story. That happened to me. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I hope that, last thing, and that's long line, okay? This is what I wanted to talk about. This is Natalie Buchwald, clinical director of Manhattan Mental Health Counseling. She says she sees the distinction between healthy resilience and the blasé, non-committal attitude she sees so many Gen Zers deploy to cope with rejection. I'm finding there's more of a pervasive numbness that looks like resilience, but it's not resilience, it's disconnect. That's sort of what we talked about, but like I think that really fucking hits. Where it's like that's like the very obvious response to a lot of rejection is just to be fucking non-committal and numb, when perhaps it's resilience coded, but you're not really shrugging it off. You're actually it's avoidant. But also hilariously, Buchwald these nuts was a good example. Anyway, enough about that. All right, enough about that. I just wanted to bring this up. I thought it was an interesting article and well made, and I've been impressed, honestly, with some of these Business Insider articles. They've been going deeper than more well-known publications. This was a good read. But I want to tell you guys a story about my basketball story from last night. So last night, I'm out there. You know, I go out at night to shoot hoops. I do that so fewer people see me brick. I go out, and it's a public court. It's a few miles from me. It's a public court. I don't know if I need to draw this. But it's like 4 half courts. It's one of them is a full over here, but these two are halves, and I think this one has a bench. Anyway, the point is, I'm out. It doesn't matter. I'm at night. The point is, at like a little after 11, there's an old guy that shuts off the lights. It's outdoor. This is outdoor, but there's big lights here, 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 and everything else is dark all around. And I come out here at night, usually when it's empty, and I'll practice shooting. So I'm here. Okay. And there's like a playground here. Not really a playground, but it's like a little park area. It's like a grassy area. Okay. I used to stay out here after the lights went off and keep shooting, but it kind of gets overrun by homeless people. I'm just going to be honest with you. After the lights go out, homeless people start sleeping. So it's like it's not great. And I also keep them up, and it's also, it's not great. So now what I do is I show up usually an hour before the lights go out, and I'll practice for like an hour. It's like a good way. It's a fucking calming. I put a podcast on. I like it. So I show up and I do my like 45 minutes of shooting, and my legs kind of hurting because something that happened on Sunday. So I call it a little bit early. So I go to this corner and I sit the fuck down in the corner, and I'm on my phone, and I'm like, looking at the podcast or whatever. I'm like chilling. My knee kind of hurts. Okay. And by the way, it's a ghost town. It's dead quiet. No one is around. Completely dead silent. Then out of the darkness, again, this is like a big empty grassy area. Across the grass, the shadow of a child approaches alone. I mean, it's a shadow of a child out of the darkness. Little kid. And he's just like walking real slow. But like just, it's holding something. The child is holding something. I can't tell what it is, but he's holding something. And I can see it kind of out of the corner of my eyes, and I kind of look up. And the child is like stopped. Like it gets to the edge of my vision where it can see me really clearly because I'm in the light and I can't see it. Child called it. Well, I'm just saying, this is my thought at the moment. He, but at the time, it, okay? And the child is stopped right here, just not moving. And I'm like a little weirded out, but also easily distracted. So like, and also it's a child, right? So like, I'm not too worried. So like, I'm like, and I look back at my phone and then I look back up again. And now the child is on the court standing right here and just looking at me. And now it's, he is a little, Mexican child, probably between 8 and 11, if I had to guess. And he's staring at me and I see what he's holding now. And he's holding a 2-liter full thing of Coca-Cola. And he's like looking at me and sipping it. Year of soda. And so the first thing I think of is my prediction was right. Year of soda. I think I've crushed it. And he's just chilling. Like he's just standing here. Like, but it's weird. Like when I look at him, he stops moving. It's like a Boo. He's like a Boo in Mario. Like he clearly is getting closer to me, but when I look at him, he stops moving. And I got my headphones in. So finally, like I look back down at my phone and then I'm engrossed in what I'm doing. Like at the end of the day, once I've seen the kid, I'm like, I'm not afraid of this kid. It's a child. So I go back to my phone and then I hear, excuse me. She had a little bit of an accent, but I'm not going to do it. Okay, I'm not going to do it. He goes, excuse me. And so I take my headphones out and the kid's now here. The kid's now, he's right up on me with the he's still slurping his soda. And so I take my headphones. I'm like, yeah, what's up? And it's dead silent, dead of night, darkness everywhere, just me and this kid. He goes, can you drive me home? He's like, and I'm like, what? Can I drive you home? And now I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit nervous that like this is a setup or a scam or that someone else is in on it. I'm kind of like looking around a bit. Like, this is a little odd. Like, this has not happened to me. I've been here a lot. Done play basketball here a lot. And this has not happened to me. So I'm a little bit unnerved. The kid seems fine, but I'm a little unnerved. He's like, can you drive me home? And I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's your parents? And he tells me this story. But here's the thing, and I got to explain this. The story itself is not so problematic, and I can't do it justice. The way the kid tells this story is like constantly unable to do eye contact, constantly eyes darting around. It looks like he's lying. Now, I don't know, but he's constantly like, he can't, and seems very nervous. So he's like, he tells me that he was out with friends and they all got in a car and left him behind. That's what he tells me. Like, I got left behind by a bunch of friends and I need to get home. And I'm like, well, do you have a phone? Do you have parents around? Do you have anything? And he goes, no, I don't have a phone. My parents are at home. My parents think I'm out with friends, but their friends left me. And I'm like, they seem like pretty bad friends. And he goes, yeah. And so I'm like, okay. Well, how about this? How about you give me your parents' number and I'll call them for you and they can come pick you up. Cause I really don't think I can drive you home, man. I don't think that's a good idea. And he goes, and he's like, he seems like kind of put off by that, which is again, unnerving for me. And he goes, okay. 818, he tells me this number. Starts with 818, which is already suspicious for me because that's not the area code around here. And so I put it in. Instantly it goes beep, 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 like it's fake. I don't know if it's fake, but it's like dead. It's like not, it's not like a real number. It doesn't even call. It goes beep, beep, beep. So I'm like, the number doesn't work. And he's like, maybe I got it wrong. Then he gives me a different number and I put that number in. Beep, beep, beep. not a real number. So we're at a tough spot now because the phone's not gonna work. All right. So now I'm like, okay, kid. Okay, well, listen, where are you trying to go? What's the address you're trying to go to? And he's like, he gives me an address. I look it up on Google Maps. It's fucking 30 miles away. It's like it's like on the other end of Los Angeles, bro. It's like literally like a 35, 40-minute drive. I mean, it's like a fucking, and this is late at night. So I was like, what, I didn't say this, but I was like, how did you even get out here? And he's like, well, we're my friends. We're going to go to the park. And then they left me here. It's kind of suspicious, but it's like, I don't know why this kid would lie. And he's just slurping his soda. Every time he like tells me something and then goes, and just slurps like off the top of his 2-liter. And I'm like, okay, all right, listen, kid. And by the way, if this kid was like 18 or like 17, then I would have been like, sorry, bro, I got to go. But like this kid is like, he's clearly a child. He's again like 10 years old and just seems like a shy little kid. And as sus as he's sounding, like his story does seem like it's plausible. Like he got left behind by some older, like I remember asking, like, were the friends who left you behind, were they older? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, well he could have some older, like maybe an older brother or something that like bullied him or left him behind. Anyway. So I'm like, all right, listen, I'm not going to drive you home. And I don't think it's a good idea to call the police to get this figured out. So what I'm going to do is, against my better judgment, I'm going to call you an Uber to go to this address that you say is your home. Windows? Wait, Windows. I'm going to call you an Uber. So I look up the address and look up the Uber, and the Uber's like fucking $60, dude. It's like $60, and I don't want to do it. But I was thinking, like, what if tomorrow I see a fucking headline of kid kidnapped or fucking dead? I mean, we're not in a nice area, by the way. Like where I'm playing basketball is not really a nice area, and the lights are going out as we're talking. So I call the Uber, and it's not going to arrive for like 10 minutes. So I'm like, all right, kid, just chill here. Actually, we go up to the street light because the light's going out. And I'm like, let's just chill here. And when the Uber arrives, it'll take you home. And he's like, oh, thank you. And so for like 10 minutes, I just talked to this kid about Fortnite and like his favorite video games. Because I don't know what to talk to him about. I'm just trying to like make conversation with this kid. And I'm just talking about Fortnite. And I explained to him that the German Green Party and their nuclear takes. And I go deep into that. And then I go into, I just talk about Fortnite. And he tells me about Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, different perks that he likes. And, he told me he loves to watch Twitch. And I was like, I used to work there at Twitch. And that was the first time he seemed like happy the whole time. And he looked up and made eye contact for once. He's like, oh my God. And then I asked him for his username so I could get him permabanned from the website. But anyway, the Uber driver arrives and he opens the door and he's like confused because I'm not getting in. I'm like, I let the kid get in and I'm like, all right. And he's like, are you? I'm like, just take this kid home. And we just shut the door and I go back to get my fucking basketball. And hopefully the kid got home, but he's all right. I think the worst that happened is I got skamazed for an Uber, but like the best that happened is that I saved the kid from being 30 miles from home in the middle of nowhere. So overall, I don't feel so bad about it, but it was odd. It was like, I'd never been in a situation like that. It was weird. Why not call the cops? I just feel like that would be an escalation. I mean, if I had no other option, I guess I would do it rather than leave the kid who clearly had no other solution. But I don't want to call the cops to come. I don't like it. I thought Uber can't drive kids less than 18. I don't know if that's true. I mean, this guy certainly did. But I told him what was up. I was like, hey, this kid's trying to go home to his parents or whatever. Can you? And he's like, yeah, he did it. Quick Draw Madness, thank you for the 5 months. Uber driver was in on the scam and took the money to drive the kid a block away. If that's the scam, then they got me. That's really impressive. If they coordinated the app to get this driver specifically. If he didn't know the phone number, how would he know the address? I actually thought that was the least crazy part. I know so few phone numbers, and I know many, many addresses. That seems that, especially in modern day, who the fuck remembers phone numbers? You just put it in your phone. It's like not. But what was weird, I think it was weird for the kid not to have any phone and to be out like that. And the only possessions he had was he went out with like, I think a $5 bill, and he used that $5 bill to buy the 2 liter of soda. He was out all day with $5 and he bought the 2 liter of soda. And that's it. That's the only thing he had on him. Nothing. No, nothing. No wallet. No, nothing. He's just a fucking, it's so infuriating to whoever, like, I guess, I mean, based on this kid's story, and really we talked for a while, I think he's just a nervous kid. I don't think he was actually lying. Based on his story, he just has some real shitty friends. Maybe one of them's an older brother, but they just fucking abandoned him. Oh, I got the wrong one. I should have brought him on stream. I think he's got some shitty friends. Imagine being a lost kid and Atrioc is your only help. Dude, imagine I yapped so much at him that the kid chose to run off into the darkness rather than get help. I start fucking talking this kid's ear off. He's like, I'll take my chances on the street. You want to hear about how Xi Jinping is sort of dealing with Chinese government debt crisis? Anyway, I think it all worked out. I know there's not a crazy ending to the story if you were expecting, but I think it worked out, which I'm glad. But it was definitely an interesting situation. I haven't been in that before. Weird Al story. Oh, okay. This is not even a real big story, but I went to this L-Aid fire benefit where a bunch of like comedians and musicians and celebrities, the most famous of which probably is Weird Al or Tim Heidecker, put on this event to raise money to fight the LA fires or to like get support for victims of the LA fires. So Ari and I went and we're watching it. And here's what I'll say. These people were all famous and talented, right? I mean, they're all, or at least they're like entertainers. I walked away from that event thinking that the ACLU community we have are a better group of theater kids than professional Hollywood theater kids. Like, the event was not that well organized. Many of the things they kind of ad hoc put on weren't that entertaining. Like they didn't plan for, like it's fine. Like it's all in good faith. I'm not mad, but it's like I think a better show would have been, I'm not kidding. I'm not even exaggerating. I think a better show would have been put on by the ACLU. It was kind of like this ad hoc thing where like, someone might come out and do a random song and then someone will come out and do a little bit of comedy and someone do a song and a little comedy. And then like, they all just felt so theater kid coded. And I'm like, I've got a better crop of theater kids in my Discord. They would log this whole fucking event. If they put them in charge of this, it would be like running better. And I sincerely had that thought the whole time. There was some hilarious comedy, but most of the music was like, fun. I mean, I think the ASU show was legitimately better. So you went to this concert dedicated to helping out fire victims and thought this needs to be more about me. Is that what I just said? Because if not, that's what I meant. That's exactly what I was trying to say. I was trying to say it needs to be more about me. Not that there's a people in our community who are more skilled or more talented. No, what I was trying to say, Weird Al should come out and sing a song about coffee cows. That was my point. You understood it well. You're really good at picking up the nuance. Yeah, what I was trying to say was that Weird Al should have been singing, honestly, would have been better. If Weird Al sung Story of a Samurai or something, that would have got the crowd going. Evan Gao can do Weird Al, but Weird Al can't do Evan Gao. The Veil, that's the truest thing you've ever said. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm fucking saying. I'm saying Who Dat can be as funny as Tim Heidecker, okay? But Tim Heidecker can't share the same stories that Who Dat does. There's just like there's a cut above. Tim doesn't have that lived experience. Exactly. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today, I think, folks. That's it. I am going to turkey transplant looking good, Big A. You think this is after the turkey transplant? You think I paid for this? I got ripped off, didn't I? They kind of fucked me over. I flew all the way to Turkey for that. Must not have had much. Yeah, I think I'm gonna raid somebody. And I do think I will try my damnedest to do a light wins and fails tomorrow, because there's a lot of little things that aren't main topics that I want to talk about. I want to knock them out. We'll raid Coney. I'm going to be live tomorrow to watch Jerome Powell. However, tomorrow I have the podcast recording, and then I have I'm going to a Lakers game with Aiden and Jarvis. So I won't be live tomorrow night. And then Thursday, go crazy. But I will be live tomorrow with at 11 a.m. for the Jerome Powell thing. All right. Thank you for watching. Sorry I've been fewer hours as of late, but I think the videos have been really good, and I'm I'm working on some good stuff. We'll raid Coney if he's live. Coney's playing Repo. Should be fire. See you tomorrow at 11 if you want to watch the most insane fucking Jerome Powell thing. FOMC meeting. Goodbye.